This is a battle in the Son of Macedon tournament, Iraklis against AK. The finals of that tournament, and in this battle Iraklis is commanding Athens. We're sort of jumping into the battle mid-action here because I had some issues with the recording, so just the intro was messed up. Well, let's just jump right into it, go over the armies real quick. We have some Illyrian Marines, Illyrian Spears, Illyrian Marines, Illyrian Marines, Illyrian Noble Hoplite Center, a bunch of these skirmishers, Peltasts and Slave Slingers over here, another Illyrian Noble Hoplite. But what's peculiar about this Ardiaei army is that it has Illyrian Raiders and it doesn't have any Celtic units, which is a bit odd. For Iraklis, he has 4 citizen cavalry, some Tarentines. His main line is Thorax Sword, Thorax Hoplite, Thorax Sword, Thorax Hoplite, all down the line here. So a few precursors and the dangerous Thorax Hoplites. But I don't think Athens is a good matchup for I don't think Ardiaei is a good matchup for Athens, because Ardiaei is they have the Hoplite core, they have the good Hoplites, but then they have some very nice supporting units in the form of Axes and Celts and very cheap Thereos. So I think Iraklis has his work cut out for him here. We'll see. And I also have to question Iraklis bringing all of those citizens in this battle as well, because to defeat Ardiaei you need to kill a lot of infantry. The citizen cavalry doesn't really help you doing that. I might have liked to see some mercenary Thracians actually, because they can do a very good job joining fights against a unit like Illyrian Noble Hoplite. So say the Thorax Hoplites go in first. Here we have the Thorax Swords throwing their precursors into the Illyrian Nobles, but the Thorax Swords are going to get absolutely smashed. They need help, they need support. Sending in Thorax Hoplites as second line is a very, very good idea, I think. Sending in the Thorax against the Illyrian Noble Hoplites, getting the precursors in where it matters. The Thorax Hoplites are charging in. When they're going into phalanx, they are going to do a good job against the Noble Hoplites. Here we have Illyrian Raiders coming out of nothing, charging into the Thorax Swords. The square formation here is being used against the Thorax Hoplites, and now the mercenary Peltas are going to be able to fire point blank into these Thorax Hoplites, and quite frankly they're going to be able to kill a lot of them. So Illyrian Noble Hoplites charging in now. The Thorax Hoplites are not going to have a good time, but the Illyrian Noble Hoplites are actually pulling out, trying to get at the flanking units here. This is another Thorax Hoplite, not a picked Hoplite. So already Thorax Swords being chased off the field. Thorax Hoplites getting destroyed here. The Athenian units are just no match. One exception is the Illyrian Raiders, and the Illyrian Raiders are a crappy unit compared to Axis. And this is very nicely done with the Illyrian Marines and having the mercenary Peltas throw into the flank of the Thorax Hoplites here, essentially neutralizing the Thorax Hoplites. The Illyrian Noble Hoplites are taking a beating. Nicely done sending in the Thorax Hoplites as second line here, because there's no way that the Thorax Hoplites are going to be able to do this on their own. But the Illyrian Noble Hoplites, very sturdy unit, able to hold their own for a long time. And the citizen cavalry charging into these Illyrian Marines to stop them from firing at the general presumably, but citizen cavalry just, it can't get the kills in melee. Here we have some Illyrian Raiders, took care of the citizen cavalry over there. The Tarentines firing into the blob. And the Illyrian Raiders charging off to the Tarentines here. Rare charges incoming from the Illyrian Noble Hoplites. So the Thorax Swords off the field. And very nice positioning here on the Illyrian Marines. Getting them into the back of the Thorax Swords, doing the damage. And here you see how, I mean, the Thorax Hoplites are a good unit. The Illyrian Noble Hoplites are just superior. And a lot more armor, more health. they are able to go toe-to-toe with the Thorax Hoplites, even though these guys were using Battle Rhythm Second Wind. The Illyrian Marines charging into the Thorax Swords. Over here in the back lines we have the Slingers being charged by Illyrian Cavalry. And everywhere Ardiaei is doing really well against these Athenian units. The Athenian units, aside from the Thorax Hoplites, lack killing power, and these Illyrian Noble Hoplites have been able to hold out against 2 units for a long time until help arrives. So having to use 2 units against 1 unit like this, when those 2 units are significantly more expensive than that 1 unit, means that you're going to struggle somewhere else on the battlefield, and that was exactly what we saw in this battle. Iraklis struggling everywhere where he wasn't able to support with 2 units, and his otherwise very good Thorax Hoplites are struggling against the Illyrian Noble Hoplites. We have the Illyrian Cavalry running around here, turning around to face the Citizen Cav. But at this point, it's a lost cause for Athens. The Slingers won't be long before they get hit by something. Yep, the Illyrian Raiders chasing after them here. And the general of Athens being surrounded. Illyrian Noble Hoplites grinding out the Thorax Hoplites. Over here, the Illyrian Noble Hoplites and the Illyrian Spears are actually wavering. There is an Illyrian Marine in here, but this was the unit that was hit by precursors and that was charged beforehand by the Thorax Swords. But the Thorax Swords really didn't get many kills. So the Thorax Hoplites still holding out, but now the Illyrian Marines are in square, so it's going to take quite a while grinding down this unit. Nicely done there, charging in, putting them in square. The square makes it so that less men are engaged. It increases their melee defense, it increases their morale, all very useful things once the missiles have been expended. So it looks like we're going to see another win here for AK. I don't see, I mean, Iraklis can't do anything here. And once again, I sort of question Iraklis' choice of army. He knows he has to kill a lot of infantry, but he really lacks infantry killing power. And I think those Thracians could be really good, but the thing is that there are so many precursors on the field. There are cheap skirmishers, and there are these Thraeus units able to do a lot of damage to Thracians. So a costly victory there for AK. Of course, his Illyrian Noble Hoplites carry the day, both in terms of kills and in terms of holding down multiple units. The Thorax Hoplites do a decent job, but these Thorax Swordsmen are just horrible. And the Tarentines outperform the Citizen Cavalry by quite a bit. The Ardiaei, a very good faction against a lot of Greek factions, because they have things that the Greeks lack. They have those things in abundance. But AK played well this battle. So let's see what happens in game number 3. Strength and Honor.